Hi, this is Sherry Veronica. Back in 2004, this guy, Vincent Leroy Gooding, it's a better picture here. Vincent Leroy Gooding, he was sentenced to death for the killing of Carl Nurse. Now, Carl Nurse was visiting his mom and he was waiting for a bus when Vincent and this guy, Theo, decided to rob him, and during the robbery, Carl Nurse ended up dead. It bothered Theo Tate, I think his last name is, yeah, here it is, Theo Tate. It bothered him, and he told his mother that he was going to go and tell the police. He had to tell the police, and he told the police that it was Vincent who had the knife, and it was Vincent's idea to rob Carl Nurse. I say this to you to show you that things come full circle sometimes, okay? The only reason I'm seeing this online was because there was an appeal, okay? There was an appeal. I cannot find anything. I will have to pay someone to go into the archives at the Nation or wherever, but there's nothing online. There is well, not that when I pull it up, nothing comes up for Vincent Leroy Gooding except for the fact that he now has died. And when they describe the crime scene, when they describe things that happened for Carl Nurse back in 2004 when he was robbed and killed, it resembles exactly what happened to him. It just resembles. There is something called karma. I mean, you've got to understand that whatever you put out, it's going to come back to get you. It's coming back to get you. He's recently out of prison, okay? He recently concluded the time that he spent at the hotel there in St. Philip Dawes prison for killing Carl Nurse. And it seems as though that someone else who was involved in the killing, they say she's dead too. That's what they're saying. I don't know about Theo Tate. If he is still alive, maybe you can tell me if Theo Tate is still alive. But his conscience got the better of him, and he went and he confessed to the police, and that confession brought him into, into the indictment and into the trial and being convicted of murder. Vincent Leroy Gooding, he lived by the sword, he died by the sword. The same way Carl Nurse died no sooner than he was released from Dawes prison. He died the same very way. I have a question. If karma is an energy, and if God, your God that you believe in, if he works his magic through humans, if he's working through the humans here on the earth, should there be some consideration made for the person that took him out? Should that be looked at in court, that karma came back for him, and someone, a human being, had to perform the act of karma because God, the energy God, works through the energy of mankind. So when you start to look at this thing straight on, how do you measure justice? How do you measure it? How do you measure justice? Was it justice that he was taken out because he was sentenced to death? When you sentence people to death, when the judges and those people in Barbados sentence someone to death, it doesn't mean death. It just means that maybe they get life and they spend a long time in prison. I think that's what it means. But he was actually literally sentenced to death. Okay? He spent his time at the Hotel St. Philip. He was released, and no sooner he was killed the same way he killed Carl Nurse. Justice? Karma? God working through man? You decide. You decide. This is Sherry Veronica.